Now, earlier today, the White House released an unredacted memo, which keeps being called a transcript, and it's frustrating, of a call between Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Now, that memo appears to have Donald Trump pressuring the leader into investigating one of Donald Trump's political opponents. That would be Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, right? So now, in it, he mentions that the U.S. has been very, very good to Ukraine, but mentions that the Ukrainians have not been reciprocal. He then asks for a favor, and after Zelensky agreed to that favor, which would be looking into that gas company that Hunter Biden serves on the board on, uh, you know, as well as an investigation into Joe Biden and shutting down, allegedly shutting down the prosecutor. Uh, Trump said the Ukrainian economy is, quote, going to get better and better, I predict. That's all in the context of, by the way, uh, $400 million of U.S. military aid to Ukraine that Donald Trump was holding up before this call. So now, Republicans and Democrats, they've decided to weigh in, including Donald Trump, who called this a, quote, perfect call. Nothing wrong with it. It's perfect. What are you talking about? Well, the reason that Donald Trump calls it perfect is because Zelensky kissed his ass the whole time, did everything that Donald Trump asked him to. Now, he also says later on, it's Trump, the way you had built up that call, it was going to be the call from hell. It turned out to be a nothing call, other than a lot of people said, I never knew you could be so nice. So that's Trump's official response. They were telling me they never thought I could be so nice. Oh, now remember, this is a transcript, or it's not a transcript, it's a memo. And so there's likely some things omitted from it. Okay. Even so, what was left seems fairly disastrous. So now you have the response here from top Republicans and Trump allies. First, you have Representative Doug Collins, who's part of the House Judiciary. He said this on Twitter, quote, the transcript between President Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky reveals that Democrats have again leapt to conclusions before looking at the facts. Well, but we don't have the actual transcript of the call or like a recording or anything like that. No, we have a memo. That's it. Yeah, okay. Now, this is the chairman of the House Freedom Caucus. This is Mark Meadows. He said this, I've read the transcript, and the Democrat spin's all wrong. Again, President Zelensky initiated the Giuliani convo and asked the White House to send him to Ukraine. Now, Giuliani has said, yeah, I went to the Ukraine. I've talked about this investigation. That's not a question, right? But Meadows continues in saying, zero discussion of foreign aid quid pro quo. That's it. That's what the Democrats are impeaching on. Give me a break. Oh, okay. So let me address that. Now, did Zelensky, was he the first one to bring up Giuliani? Yeah. Then Trump said, well, you should talk to Giuliani, you should talk to William Barr, and you should also do an investigation of Joe Biden. Now, Zelensky did not mention Joe Biden at all. In fact, Zelensky was saying, we're going to buy more missiles from you. We're going to buy more American weapons. That's our way, since Trump had mentioned before in that conversation that, well, Ukraine, you're not being reciprocal. We were so very good to you, and you need to be more reciprocal. And they said, well, absolutely. I agree 100%. We're going to buy more missiles from the United States. Is that what you want? Trump said, no, I need a favor. Look into this CrowdStrike thing. Oh, and also look into Biden and look into Hunter Biden and his son. Or I should say, look into Biden and his son, Hunter Biden. So, okay. He said, I want to ask you a favor. Now, what happens if you ask a favor from someone that you're basically holding money from? They're holding up $400 million in military aid. They're likely to be pressured into doing that favor. Also, again, mentioning we've been very good to Ukraine seems to imply quid pro quo, even though it's not exactly explicitly pointed out, right? Explicitly said. So now, one Republican lawmaker is a little bit bothered by this, and that's Senator Mitt Romney. Well, now that's interesting. So Romney said, I read the transcript, it remains troubling to the extreme. It's deeply troubling. And now he also says later on, he's like, look, I'm going to wait for more facts to come out. But from what I've seen right now, not good. So that's Mitt Romney. So I guess that's about the strongest Romney can get. Now, other Republicans have said, and this is Bill Weld, right? Admittedly, running a primary against Donald Trump, such as it is. Bill Weld's like, this could be treason. And if that's true, death penalty. There's only one penalty for treason, and that's to put him to death. Well, now, that's strong. Mitt Romney, though, that's about as strong as Mitt Romney gets, right? Deeply, deeply troubling, right? So now there's more for Republicans, right? So now, and this is interesting. This is Republican consultant Mike Murphy. Now, he goes on MSNBC, and he says this, quote, it's a classic shakedown. That's going to be the argument. These Senate Republicans, should the Democrats vote for impeachment, which is far more likely than not, are going to be pinned down to a yes or no answer. So, will you impeach the president based on what you know? So, well, I mean, look, that's the big question, right? So, the big question here, political question is, yeah, okay, so if the House does impeachment proceedings and actually delivers articles of impeachment and starts the whole process, well, the Republicans in the Senate, well, they're just going to defend Donald Trump no matter what, right? And they're not going to go for impeachment. And what Mike Murphy is saying is there is a situation in where they might actually do so. He said, quote, the politics of it will get worse and worse for Trump. One Republican senator told me that if it was a secret vote, 30 Republican senators would vote to impeach Trump. The Democrats need 20. 30. But only if it's on a secret vote. So now that's interesting / disastrous because it shows how weak the Republican Party really is and how much, how scared they are of their voters and of Donald Trump. I mean, and this is the thing, right? They despise Donald Trump in private. And we've known this for a very long time. They hate Donald Trump in private. But in public, they're like, Donald Trump? What are you talking about? I love the man. The MAGA. But in private, again, they're like, yeah, I'd totally impeach him if I could. If it was secret, well, that's not how impeachment works. So, pretty unlikely. But then again, that does show that if more evidence comes out and it's overwhelming, that you could have these Republicans eventually go, okay, look, it's too much. It's too much. I have to. Or else it's the end of the Republican Party as we know it. And we will be, synonymous with corruption and Donald Trump. We don't want to go quite that far. But there's one Republican that does. And that's Senator Lindsey Graham. Of course. So Lindsey Graham earlier said it's insane to impeach a president over a phone call. But it's not over the phone call. It's over the quid pro quo. And it's also saying, telling a world leader that, hey, man, we would really like you. I would really like it if you did me a favor of investigating my political opponent. That is illegal. Doesn't matter. It is 100% illegal. Full stop. Doesn't matter the context. He said, you do me a favor, you investigate Joe Biden and his son. Case closed. It's over. It's over. Yet Lindsey Graham, he says this. He says, Joe Biden is a very good friend, but we can't have a country where one side looks and the other one does not. Now, here's the thing. Is what Joe and Hunter Biden did, was that wrong? Of course. They're deeply, deeply shady. So there's a big problem there. And so, look, if you want to look into Hunter Biden or Joe Biden and their improper relationship with that gas company, okay, that fine. But you can't ignore and let that overshadow what Trump had done. And that's a campaign finance violation that is literally breaking the law and is worthy of impeachment. But he also added, this This is Graham again. He said the Ukrainian president did not feel threatened. He was the target of a phone call. He felt fine with what happened. Are you sure? I read it just like you have. You can make your own decision, but from a quid pro quo aspect of the phone call, there's nothing there suggesting that a prosecutor may have been fired because of a conflict of interest. And Graham says it was very appropriate for Trump to suggest Ukraine investigate the Bidens. This is the same Lindsey Graham that in 1999 voted to impeach President Bill Clinton, who was accused of lying about an affair. So that's Lindsey Graham, who is literally Donald Trump's. He is now. So we called Mitt Romney Reek, right? Maybe it's Lindsey Graham. No, you know what? No, that's actually not a good comparison because Reek was broken. Lindsey Graham came into this willingly. He said, "Oh, Donald Trump, I know I made fun of you. I know I said some terrible things about you, but I really need a boyfriend. Not in a gay sense, right? But like he needs a buddy. He needs a John McCain to complete him. And what's ironic is the John McCain, if he were alive, I don't think that he would be backing Donald Trump. I think he would be like Mitt Romney and be like, this is deeply, deeply troubling. We need more information." So there's that. So there's actually more too. The Justice Department, they also weighed in. Justice Department headed by William Barr, right? So they said that no criminal campaign finance violation occurred during President Trump's call, and they said that since there was no quantifiable thing of value under discussion in the call, that they can't do anything about it. There's no crime there, nothing quantifiable. Well, he's not going to come out and say that explicitly that we know of. Then again, we've only seen a summary, a memo, not the official transcript, which could have a lot of things that were taken out that are not in there. So, and look, if you're even somewhat smart and don't want to be super obvious, or even if you're dumb but don't want to be obvious, you're going to talk in code. That code would be, we've been very good to you, but you haven't reciprocated. Now I need a favor. This is the best that they can do. So now I've got response here from Democrats. Now, this is Representative Adam Schiff. He's the Democratic chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, and he's been very, very weak on impeachment. Now, not so much. He said, the transcript of the call reads like a classic mob shakedown. We do a lot for Ukraine. There's not much reciprocity. I have a favor to ask. Investigate my opponent. My people will be in touch. Nice country you got there. It would be a shame if something happened to her. Or if you didn't get your money. Essentially the subtext of the call. And finally, Elizabeth Warren said, this transcript itself is a smoking gun. If this is the version of events the president's team thinks is most favorable, he is in very deep jeopardy. We need to see the full whistleblower complaint, and the administration needs to follow the law now. So, and I agree with her because there's no question that the official whistleblower complaint has to come out. And that we need the actual transcript, not just a memo edited by the White House. We also need William Barr, the Justice Department, to recuse himself. He should not be in charge during this investigation. Totally not fair, totally not impartial. Has protected Donald Trump before, and we saw this during the Mueller report, where he, put out a summary that did not say, what the Mueller report actually said, which pointed out 10 different counts of obstruction. So you can't trust William Barr, and especially since he's in this. He's one of the people that Trump said, you should get in touch with. Get in touch with my people. That's Rudy Giuliani. That's William Barr. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know how I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.